Final score from downtown Inglewood. Your Clippers get it done again. 128-108, taking down the Memphis Grizzlies, the 5 seed in the West, coming into tonight. The win streak continues here. It's 7 straight at home, 8-1 in their last 9 games because of efforts like this, with everybody getting involved. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and then we got some high-flying antics for you as well. Derrick Jones Jr. been coming off the bench lately, but boy, packing a punch and bringing some different energy with that second unit as well. Hi, everyone. Jeannie Zalasko, longtime veteran. Don McClain, not the way you wanted it to start, but most definitely the way we wanted it to finish.
Yeah, they flipped the game in that third quarter with their defense. Same story we saw on Tuesday night when they turned up the defense in the second half on Cleveland. But again, we talked about this in the pregame, Jeannie. It's the same formula for this Clipper team. They have to defend. They have to defend at a high level. They did that in the second half and won the game.
Yeah, Tuesday night in this building, they kept Boston to like 17, 18 in that fourth quarter. But it was the third quarter here tonight where they really came out swinging and realized that we can rely on our defense to flip this.
I mean, really, I don't know what was said in the locker room, but whoever said it, it worked because they came out flying around in that third quarter defensively. Immediate timeout by Taylor Jenkins, but there was no stopping the Clipper defense in this second half, especially in the third quarter. But you see, I think this team understands it, but sometimes you need a reminder. It's a long season that, hey, guys, we got to defend. They did. And ended up winning the game going away.
It is kind of interesting because Bogdanovich came out and started that second half, and that scoring punch is pretty impressive. It is now 6 straight games where the Clippers have outscored their opponents in the third quarter. I know we're talking about the defense, but this is worth pointing out. 213 to 143. That's the overall points. Look out in that third. And look out for James Harden, who, you know, we talked about in the pregame show a little bit. I mean, the numbers are just insane across the NBA and where he ranks. But he had for James Harden what would have been kind of an off night in the win at Cleveland. He made up for it tonight.
That's what the great players do. They don't like stacking poor shooting nights back to back to back. But he came out and, again, the decision-making, you could tell that he was looking to be aggressive, hit his first couple, and usually when he does, he really gets it going, finished with 30, 5 of 10 from the three-point line. But what's interesting to me, Jeannie, is he was the only one in double figures at halftime.
Yeah.
6 guys finished in double figures in the game, so they started spreading it around a little bit more, but he was terrific again tonight, Harden, as he's been all year.
Harden 18 and a half, 12 points in that third quarter alone. It's his 10th 30-point game. Clippers are now 9-1 when he scores 30 or more points. Let's turn it now a little bit to Kawhi Leonard, who talked with Christina Pink post-game. He's got that Kawhi face, that postseason lockdown look.
You can tell that this team, Kawhi for sure, but this team just in general is now locking in for the playoffs. I know we're 11 games away, but this was the plan all along, that whatever happened up until this point, let's be right now. And this team is right. And I said it on Sunday, Jeannie, that this team is ready to make a run. They're on a run. And I don't expect this team to not keep this going. You know, it'll be interesting on Sunday because they got OKC. OKC's really not playing for anything anymore. They got the number 1 seed locked up. So another opportunity for the Clippers to, you know, continue the fight for the top 6 spots. And, you know, you mentioned that Memphis is still the 5-hole. Well,
we'll see for how long. Yeah, they haven't had John Morant now for 4 straight games. And one more note on Kawhi Leonard, 20 points in 11 of his last 12. And what he said to Christina Pink was they are having fun. And I think that is obvious,
you know what,
across
Jeannie?
the board.
Winning's fun.
Winning is fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of. It's fun to be Brian Shaw right now. Everybody wants Ty Lue to get healthy, but we are going to hear from the interim coach when we come back. But feast on the work of Bogey. Right place, right time, right guy to take the shot. Clippers win. Another night, more franchise history to share regarding James Harden. He joins J.J. Redick and Paul George as the only players in franchise history to make at least 200 threes in a single season. He was at the disposal of Brian Shaw tonight. Let's listen in.
You guys have won 5 in a row. Is this a case of just stacking games, stacking wins, and then seeing where you end up at when the season's over?
Yeah, like I said earlier, we can't control what anybody else is doing, so we have to control what we're doing as best as possible. And, everybody else keeps winning that we're jockeying with, trying to get to that 6th spot. We have to keep winning too. And so, we're just finding a way. The first half wasn't pretty. It was a chess game going on because they didn't start Edie. And then every time we took Zoo out, they came in with him and Jaren Jackson or him and Huff. And they stayed big when we had our small lineup in. So I didn't want to tip my hand too early. So in the first half, I said, well, I'll just fill it out and keep seeing how they're attacking us with their two bigs. And then we just made a minor adjustment in the second half. We started Bogey instead of KD. To stretch them out a little bit more because Jaren Jackson was guarding KD, and he was just staying in and clogging up the paint, and that just seemed to open things up for us offensively.
Coach, with that lineup, with Bogey there, with the starting guys, got some real good success from that group. What did you guys see from them that made them so successful? Well,
you can't if KD is struggling, I mean, he shot the ball well from 3 tonight. He was 3 for 7. But, when they put a big like Jaren Jackson in the middle and kind of sag off of him, tonight our thing was inside out, and inside being whether we were throwing it in the Zoo or just piercing the paint with penetration. And Zoo, they were making it tough on him tonight. They were coming, they were fronting him, they were doubling, they were coming right away. And then with Jaren Jackson, he was in the paint, so we weren't able to really get into the paint. And we forced the ball too much trying to get it in there in the first half. And I think we had 8 turnovers at halftime, and they scored 21 points off of those 8 turnovers. So at halftime, we just talked about that. That's the game right there. We had live ball turnovers, which allowed them to get out. We lost Luke Kennard a lot in the first half because of those live ball turnovers. And, so we took care of the ball better in the second half and got back and identified their shooters. And then they weren't able to, try to outwit us in terms of throwing the 2 bigs in the game. They had to stay smaller because once we got a lead, they had to start trying to catch up.
That lineup of Bogey, Harden, Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, and Zoo, plus 13 and 845. It's part of the reason why we're keeping such a close eye on the standings, says Clippers are poised to make a move.
They are. Just keep winning. Brian Shaw said it. Yeah. They can't control what anyone else is doing. They got to just keep winning, and if they do, I think they'll get what they want, which is one of those top 6 seeds.
Minnesota winners tonight over New Orleans, 134-93. Also what B. Shaw was saying, the other guys keep winning. Golden State back in action tomorrow. They have a 6-game roadie starting without Steph Curry, and that'll be in Atlanta. All right, I mentioned the plus 13 for that lineup, and Bogey, a large part of that, and the spacing that Brian Shaw was talking about.
You can just tell how comfortable he is now. Like I said in our pregame, it's hard coming midseason to a new team, fitting in, understanding the playbook, all the terminology. But you can tell he's out there just playing now. He's not thinking, just playing and providing that spark off the bench. Another 16 points tonight, 4 or 5 from behind the 3-point line. So 8 of his last 9 from behind the 3-point line. He's been really good, and they're going to need him. That's why they got him at the deadline for this role that he's in right now, providing a huge spark off the bench, offensively and defensively. And so a good sign that he's now comfortable in his role and really impacting this Clipper team.
Didn't need him to be perfect tonight. Just 6 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from the floor, 16 points. Clippers bench outscored 41-33, but they were important points off the bench. Even Amir Coffey packing a little body blow there late to make sure the Clippers pulled this win out. Homestand coming to a close on Sunday, and it's coming at a crescendo. Something wicked this way comes. We will look at what is ahead for the Clippers, but as we step aside, one more viewpoint of the work of James Harden and Ivica Zubac. 128-108. The Clippers doing a great job on this homestand. They have taken all 3 that they have played. Every game seemed to be bigger than the next. We had 6 Clippers in double digits tonight, all 5 starters. And yes, Ivica Zubac's double-double.
You know what happens when you get 28 and 20 earlier in the week?
What is
the
that?
other team game plans for you. And they were doubling them on the catch. They were doubling them from different ways. But that's the thing. When we've talked about this a lot the last week, when you're doing what Zoo is doing, defenses are going to try and slow you down. And Memphis did a pretty good job on him tonight. But what happens is when you spend a lot of time on Zoo, it opens up other people. It opens up driving lanes. And so there's a give and take there. And the Clippers did a good job of exploiting that in the second half.
And we watched that video there. It's the reminder Zoo is getting a lot more patient out there and not trying to force things and waiting for a shot.
The biggest thing, Jeannie, is not turning it over. Yeah. When you get doubled, the tendency is to panic a little bit and throw it, and guys are zoning up on the weak side, and those passes get intercepted. So he's doing a good job of taking his time and making sure he's not turning it over.
All right, 12 games remain on the season. Unbelievable. And we have 1 game left here on the homestand. OKC headed this way, and then as a 4-game roadie, it is still the Boulder pushing it uphill over the next couple weeks.
It would be nice to put that OKC one in your back pocket before heading out on the road for 4. Brooklyn, we know, is not very good. The Magic are having a disappointing season, but I'm sure the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to remember what happened here last Tuesday, and they've lost 3 in a row, haven't they?
Yeah, and let's not sleep on the Pelicans because the Clippers lost.
Yeah.
Versus New Orleans, 2 against Dallas. Maybe, obviously not looking towards a postseason, but I think everyone's in for a fight at this point.
Well, again, if the Clippers come with the right mindset, the right disposition, and understand that they have to be right defensively, they can win all those games.
It's interesting to watch the rotations now as well. We listened to Brian Shaw talk about it as Christina Pink was reporting. Everybody needing to just hold their spot. Do their job in that moment, what you need. And these are becoming complete team wins.
Yeah, and I think they're still, playing around with rotations and combinations and who can play with who and who does what. But again, if everybody's bought in on the defensive end, you have to feel good as a Clipper fan that this Clipper team can compete with anybody in the league. Yeah. And they've shown that the last couple of weeks.
Feeling good here tonight as the Clippers pick up another win. And as you saw the calendar there, Sunday's showdown will be on KTLA. As your Clippers face OKC. And then we are back at it. Brian Seaman, Mike Fratello, Christina Pink, Don McClain. I am Jeannie Zalasko. We appreciate you guys joining us. Clippers, of course, as mentioned, back in action Sunday. Then they hit the road for 4.
Winning's fun, Jeannie. That's the theme of the night. Winning is fun.
I'm writing that one down. Maybe I'll start with that next time we chat. We got 12 more games. Let's win them all since we've discovered it is fun. We got you covered here on FanDuel Sports Network. Good night.